Well, hello and welcome back to the Rescue Saga YouTube channel. And this week I have fixed my Land Rover gearbox for less than £20. Bringing the Land Rover home on Boxing Night, I lost third and fourth gear and I didn't really know what was going on. Quick search through the internet forums and that suggested that the Detent springs in the fourth and third gear synchro mesh had broken. So I bought the springs and I took the gearbox apart, but not quite, out of the vehicle, and I managed to replace those Detent springs in the Land Rover without removing the seat box. And I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. Okie doke, so what's the saying? Let's get stuck into the Land Rover. I want to get this back on the road. I hate to see it sitting here not used, and as with all old vehicles, when they're not used they all start to go wrong. So time to start stripping this down. I think for this I'm going to take the passenger door off just to ease access. Child seat, well, I suppose all three seats are going to have to come out, I think. Let's turn some light on here. There we go. My handy head torch. Apologies for the shadows. So yeah, seats out, seat box out, rubber mats out, floors out, gearbox unload. So let's get started into that. Lots of nuts and bolts to get undone, but we'll try and keep it tidy as we go along. There we go, step one complete. The door is off and I'm thanking my past self for using plenty of copper grease in those little captive nuts, and thankfully none of them fell down inside the A pillar there. So these are stainless, so obviously they don't stick to my magnetic tray, but I'm going to do my best to keep everything organised so it doesn't cost me a fortune when I have to replace loads of lost fixings putting it back together. I'm sure I'm not the only series owner to bewail the quality of these rubber boots that go around the transfer box lever. Like, look at that. It wasn't fitted all that long ago and it is just falling apart. Good high quality parts from supposedly reputable suppliers. If anyone has decent replacements or recommendations, please let me know, because that is only fit for the bin. In the meantime, I've started lifting out the heavy rubber mat. This is from Right Off Road. I think it was about 350 quid. Really good upgrade for this Land Rover. It's the diesel, so it's a bit more noisy. Highly recommend. So I'm just going to take this out. I'm just wondering if I can get away without taking out the seat box cover, because that involves quite a lot of palava, seat belts, seat frames and all that. I'll do it if I have to, but the less work I have to do, the better. And there we go. Not actually that much later, surprisingly. Again, thanking my past self for lots of stainless fixings in the floor. We have shadows. The gearbox revealed. So, what is the problem? If we can look. First, second, very happy. Go across to third and fourth. That is not moving as much as it should, so that is a problem. So again, first, second, look how much they move, great. Third, fourth, not moving enough to engage the gear. So I think there is a video online that shows how to do this with the gearbox in situ. I'm going to take it one step further and try and do it with the seat box in, because I really don't want to take it out, but I think I'm going to have to get some brake cleaner and get that gearbox cleaned, because I really don't want all that crud falling down on top of the gears or inside the gearbox. So let's get that cleaned and that will be the next step. There we go. Quick trip to the motor factors and a weekend later, and some brake cleaner has the gearbox probably looking the cleanest it may ever have been since it left the factory. I think it's just important to get all the dirt and grease and the dirt and grit as much off as I can before I take the top cover off, gear stick and all that, so there's as little contamination going inside as possible. So let's get some bits and pieces off. First off, the overdrive bracket and the gear stick. So took the, I'm not sure what the correct word is, but it's a valence panel. Took it off, gearbox off, top cover off. Had to loosen two little bolts here in the seat box, enough to get the crowbar under to lift the seat box to get the top cover off. So it's off. There's a bit of movement here, but not a huge lot, and it looks like this seal here is gone as well. So it's an opportunity to replace that and stop oil pouring out the front of the gearbox. So time to look at the selector rods, disassembled, taken off, and go from there. And as an added bonus, here's the workshop dog. This is Molly. Say hello. Good. Not sure whether she enjoys being in here or not, but there you go. So let's get the selector rods out and see where we stand with these springs. Well, the first good news is that the diagnosis was correct. I'm hoping this is going to let me show. So there's the correctly placed Detent spring, and there in the synchro unit, and there is a broken one, and on round an absent one. So I have 1.5 out of 3 Detent springs. So I'm going to try and get the broken bit out of that one there, and replace it and replace this one here. So that's good. I can't manage to engage that too much, and happily the oil looks to be a decent colour as well. And actually the gears don't look too bad. Yeah, they could be better, but remember this is a Land Rover that lived outside unused for what, 12-15 years, having gone on fire. So I've never opened the gearbox before now, so I'm actually quite pleased with that. Good, let's get down to business. So this is what the spring should look like. I think there's one full one of these in there, half one broken off pretty much, maybe along this crinkle here, and one was completely absent. So those are quite tricky. Let's see. Didn't turn my light on. Hold on. Professional as ever. There we go. Those are quite tricky to compress, so bit of a challenge, but sure, we'll give it a bash and see how we get on. Okay, so the good news is we have a new Detent spring. Actually, it was surprisingly not too bad to get that in. So now I have a technique. I will do my best to make a video of how to get the second one in, and then we're good to go. I lost one spring down into the oil, but that's okay. I bought 3, so if necessary I can go fishing for it. And of course I'll be doing an oil change at the end of this anyway, but absolutely delighted to have one in. I suspect the next one's going to be a bit more tricky, and we're just noticing there's a little bit of damage on that gear there, so I suspect that has happened more recently. But hey ho. So I now have 2.5 Detent springs. Time to get the half broken bit out and get the third one in, and when we're good to go. Okay, so just in here you can see the half spring. I don't have the camera on a tripod or anything, so what I'm going to do is grab the broken end of the spring and pull that one out. That's the first step. Okay, so with the half broken spring out, this is the position you want the synchro to be in. So we want the synchro pushed back. That means you're effectively in 3rd gear. And what I'm going to do is slot the spring into that space underneath this little bar. I'm sure all these things have proper names, but that is what I'm calling it. So that's the job there. Get the spring into that little space and get it laying just underneath that bar. Okay, without dropping my phone into the gearbox, you can sort of see. There we go, focused. The spring is halfway under that bar. A bit of compression, a bit of wiggling. What tools am I using? These bad boys here. There we go. Long, slightly curved pliers and some assortment of screwdrivers and so on. So not overly expensive. I think these are about 20 quid, but you can get them cheap off Amazon. Okay, so the spring is now lying under that little bar, and if you apologies about the camera work on this one, folks, it's not great. I don't think I'm going to be there. You just see
there. That spring is just hooked over, there's a little ledge there. So as you move this backwards, that will pop up, and I'm going to use a crowbar because you do need a little bit of force just to get it popped up and over, and then it nearly starts to centralize. So there we have it. I put the crowbar in here, give it a quick jolt, and the little hooked end of the spring has popped over the center bit. So now we do a little bit of wiggling and pop the other end over as well. We did it! We now have 3 springs. Oh! Well, yes, we do have 3 springs, and I've just noticed that the end has broken off the one spring that remains, so it's going to need replaced, but that's okay. Now I have the technique. Bit of wiggling and shiggling, and we got it in. So 2 down, 1 to go. I'm glad I noticed that and I didn't have to come back and strip this all down again. Let's get that done now. And there we go. Rotate this around for you so you can see 1 spring there, 1 spring there, and another one there. All nicely centered, so there's 3 springs in place. I think that last one took me 5 minutes to get in. Definitely getting the technique down to fine art there in the end. And I've done this with the seat box still in place. Minimal strip down. I'm not going to rush to put it back together, so I'm waiting on a new shaft seal because this one's disintegrated on Disassembly, but I've ordered some of those, so that's great. So there you go. That is the Gearbox 3rd and 4th gear, returned for what, less than £20 in parts. I'm absolutely delighted by that. So let's get this all put back together now, and we'll wrap this video up. Well, I really hope you enjoyed that quick video on how to change the detent springs in your Land Rover gearbox. This has saved me loads of time, effort and money with removing the gearbox or mistakenly sending it off to get stripped down and rebuilt. So for less than £20, the Land Rover is going to go back on the road, and I'm absolutely delighted about this. I hope you found this useful. Please share it widely, comment. I reply to all my comments. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram too, and please give the video a like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Cheerio!